This is a ghost story. It's a ghost story about a young Pueblo Indian couple. The young wife was named Yellow Corn Girl. And the young husband, his name was Red Willow Boy. Yellow Corn Girl and Red Willow Boy. They were very happy together. They were very much in love. They had a baby that was about 14 months old. But then sadness came into their lives because Yellow Corn Girl became very sick. They gave her every healing herb, every medicine. They prayed every prayer for her. They gave her every healing chant they could think of. But she kept getting sicker and sicker. And she died. And she was buried. Poor Red Willow Boy. He was so heartbroken. For 4 days he didn't eat, he didn't sleep, he didn't talk to anybody. And then on the evening of the 4th day, their baby started crying. It was crying as if its mother were close by, and it wanted to be picked up and held by her. Well, Red Willow Boy was in no condition to comfort their child. So he thought, I'd better take our baby to my mother's sister. She'll look after it. He carried the baby to that other woman's house, and then he started back toward his own house. And as he walked along, he looked off to the south. Far, far to the south, he could see a bright speck of orange flame. And he thought, who would build a fire down there? There's nothing down that way but the ruins of an old abandoned village. He was so curious that he started walking toward the light. It got brighter and brighter, and then he began to see that the light was coming from the window of a sturdy little house. And he thought, I don't remember ever seeing a house down this way. He walked over to the house and he looked inside. Inside the house, he saw Yellow Corn Girl sitting beside a fire, brushing out her long black hair, just as she would do when she was alive. He called in through the window. He said, Yellow Corn Girl, you have been unkind to me. I have been missing you so much, and you've been close by the whole time. Come home with me. She shook her head. Her long black hair flowed from one shoulder to the other. She waved a hand at him. She told him, Go away. I am a wind now. I have no heart now. Red Willow Boy said, That's not true. You're the same as you always were. Come home with me. She shook her head. She waved her hand and told him, Go away. And then Red Willow Boy said, Well, if you won't come home with me, let me come inside and be with you. She told him no, but he asked a second time. And then he asked a third time. He even asked a fourth time. And if someone asks for something 4 times, only for a very strong reason can you deny it. She told him to come inside. They sat there by the fire for a while, and then she spread a blanket on the floor and she lay down on the blanket. He lay down beside her and he turned to embrace his wife. And that's when he noticed a sickening, nauseating smell. He had to turn away from her. She said, "My husband, why did you turn away?" Red Willow Boy said, "Oh, my right side was just feeling tired. I had to roll over onto my left side." She put her soft arm across his shoulder with her hand resting on his chest, and he fell asleep like that. When he woke up in the morning, the arm was still across his shoulder, but it wasn't a soft arm. It felt hard and brittle like the dead branch of a juniper tree. He opened his eyes and he saw the twin bones of a skeleton arm across his shoulder. A skeleton hand was resting on his chest. He jumped to his feet, and the bones rattled when they fell to the dirt floor of the room. And then the skull rolled away from the other bones. It turned its empty eyes toward him. It opened its hollow jaws, and a voice came out. "My husband." Red Willow Boy looked around him. What had looked like a sturdy house the night before was just the tumbled-down ruins of a house with only the corners standing, about a third of their normal height. He jumped over one of the tumbled-down walls and he ran away. But the skull rolled over to the wall. It rolled up one side. It rolled down the other side, and it started following him. Every time he looked over his shoulder, the skull was right behind him. Every time he stopped to catch his breath, he could hear that voice. "My husband." Red Willow Boy ran until he came to another pueblo. The people of that village were preparing for a dance. He said to the people, "Please help me. A dead one is following me." They told him, "The girls are just beginning a circle dance. Get in the center of the circle of dancing girls. Maybe it won't follow you there." He ran to the center of the circle of dancers, but the skull came rolling into the village. It rolled to the dance plaza. It rolled toward the girls and cried out, "My husband!" The dancing girls scattered away in every direction. Red Willow Boy ran out of the village. He ran up into the hills. He came to the camp of some Navajo warriors. He ran into their camp and said, "Navajo men, help me. A dead one is following me." They said, "If the dead one is from the Pueblos, it will be afraid of Navajos." They gave him a bow and an arrow. They tied his hair like a Navajo, and they told him to join the line of warriors who were beginning a war dance. He ran to join the dancing warriors, but the skull came rolling into the camp. He rolled toward the dancers. My husband! Those brave Navajos disappeared into the hills. Red Willow Boy ran again. He ran and he ran all day long. And in the evening, he came to the house of a wise old medicine chief. The old man was fashioning arrows from hollow reeds he had gathered down by the river. He looked up and saw Red Willow Boy. He said, "Do you need help?" Red Willow Boy said, "Yes, I do. My dead wife is following me." The medicine chief gave him some medicine and told him to chew it. He obeyed, and every time he swallowed, he got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. He got so tiny that the medicine chief put him inside a hollow arrow. He set the arrow to his bow and he shot it into the sky. It stuck up there and it became a star. It became that star that sometimes rises just after the sun has set. Some people call it the evening star. And then the skull came rolling up to the house of the medicine chief. It turned its empty eyes toward the sky. It opened its hollow jaws, and the mournful voice rang out, "My husband!" The medicine chief had been chewing some of his medicine, and he spit it on the skull. The skull became tiny. He put it inside a hollow arrow. He shot the arrow into the sky, and it stuck up there. It also became a star. But since that star is made from someone who has no heart, it is a pale, faint star. It's that pale star that sometimes rises just behind the evening star. Those two stars are still up there in the sky. They are up there to remind the people that whenever someone dies, they must be sent away properly. They should be mourned for 4 days. And then on the evening of the 4th day, good food should be prepared and taken to the place where the dead one is buried and left there for them. And then the people should call out and say, "Go away! You are not of this world anymore. You can be a wind now. You can be a cloud now, but you cannot come back to us. Not even in our dreams can you return to us." That's what they do whenever somebody dies. But of course, there are people who die far away from home. They might be hunting in the mountains and suffer an accident and die. They might be chasing enemies who attack the village and be killed far away from home. And there's no one there to send them off properly. And so they will go and dwell in the ruins of old villages and in old tumble-down houses. So if you are a wise person, you will never sleep in a place like that. It could be inhabited by someone who has no heart, someone who is a wind They can bring misfortune into your life. They can bring sickness upon you. Or they might follow you forever. You'll never be able to get rid of them. That's what they say.